Sometimes it takes someone outside your story to finally expose the truth. For me, that person was the maid, the stranger who walked into my home and saw what I had learned to hide so well. My name is Adaora. I was married to Philip Okonkwo, a successful real estate mogul in Lagos. People said I was lucky. Big house, fancy cars, lush wedding anniversary photos on Instagram. But behind the walls of our Lekki duplex was a secret so loud it made my silence deafening. The maid's name was Blessing. She arrived on a rainy Tuesday morning. Small frame, shy eyes, barely 19. She kept her head low as she walked in, clutching a small plastic bag that carried all she owned. I noticed a scar on her wrist, old and faded. I asked no questions. After all, who was I to question anyone's pain? Philip greeted her briefly, barely looking up from his phone. "Make sure she knows her place," he muttered to me as he passed. It was only her third day in the house when she saw it. The bruise. I had bent over to pick something from the floor, and the edge of my blouse slipped. She froze. Our eyes locked. She didn't ask, but I saw the questions swirling in her silence. 2 weeks passed. Blessing was polite, efficient, and eerily observant. One afternoon, while I was folding laundry, she whispered, "Auntie, you know fit continue like this. It go kill you one day." I turned sharply. "What did you say?" She looked away, eyes wide with fear. "Nothing, Ma." But I knew what she saw. She saw the blackened skin around my ribs, the way I flinched when the front door creaked, the way I tensed whenever Philip raised his voice on the phone. But still, I said nothing, because what would I even say? That my husband hits me? That the man who donates in church and posts love quotes online becomes a beast at night? Then one day, she came to work with one, a bruise, dark, fresh, on her upper arm. I noticed it as she was serving breakfast. "What happened to your arm?" I asked. She froze, stared at me, said nothing, but her silence, it mirrored mine, and suddenly I knew. Philip. I watched her body language around him, the way she darted out of a room when he walked in, the way her shoulders folded inward, like she was trying to shrink herself out of existence. That night when he fell asleep, I crept into the maid's quarters. "Did he touch you?" I asked, barely breathing. She hesitated, then nodded. "Same way he touched you, maybe worse." That night we cried together. 2 women broken in the same house. One with a gold wedding ring, the other with a mop and a small mattress on the floor. I told her everything. The first slap on our honeymoon. The time he broke a mirror and forced me to clean it barefoot. The way he smiled sweetly in public, only to unleash his wrath in private. She told me how he had summoned her to his room, asked her to massage his shoulders, then gripped her by the wrist when she tried to leave. He called her useless for flinching, said she should be grateful he even looked at her. We needed proof. Nobody would believe us, especially not me, the perfect wife in designer gowns. So Blessing did something bold. She left her phone recording in Philip's study while pretending to clean. She caught it all, his degrading words, the threats, and eventually, the sound of a slap. The next day, she showed it to me. My hands shook. It was real, tangible. Finally, someone else could see the man behind the mask. We had what we needed. But I was still afraid. What if he found out? Blessing came up with a plan, simple, risky. But the only way out, I would fake a medical emergency. While he rushed me to the hospital, she would sneak out, go straight to the police with the recording. And then, the rest would follow. It was raining again, like the day she arrived. I faked a collapse in the hallway. Philip panicked and rushed me into the car. What I didn't know was he saw her sneaking out. He knew. By the time I returned from the hospital, the house was quiet. Too quiet. I ran to her room, empty. Mattress gone, bag missing. No sign of a struggle, but no note either. I called her phone, switched off. Later that night, Philip was in his study. His shirt sleeve was rolled up. I noticed a smear of red, faint but there. I asked where Blessing was. He said she quit, just like that. No explanation. Something in his voice felt triumphant. My stomach turned. Was she safe? Did she get away? Or did he... I couldn't sleep. I couldn't breathe. 3 days later, a knock at the door. Police. They had Blessing. Alive. Safe. Brave. She had turned in the recording, but fled when she realized Philip saw her. The police had been watching him since. They had everything they needed. The bruises, the threats, the voice recordings. Even an old neighbor who had heard screams for years but said nothing. Philip was arrested that morning. He laughed as they put the cuffs on him. "Tell them you tripped," he said to me, "like you always do." But I didn't. This time I didn't. I looked him straight in the eye and said, "You're not a husband, you're a horror story. Blessing lives in a shelter now. She's studying to become a social worker. And me? I live in a small apartment with my daughter, Amaka. She's only 4, but she already asks questions like, 'Mummy, why don't you wear sunglasses at home anymore?' I just smile, because I'm no longer hiding the bruise. We both carried one, on our skin, in our soul. But now, we share something else. Freedom. There are many women like us, walking around with invisible bruises. Sometimes it takes a stranger to see what others have ignored. This is not just a story about pain. It's about escape, about bravery, and about the power of 2 broken women who refused to stay silent.